So these are my Bibles. As you can see, they're worn and torn. They've been through a lot, just like me. So I want to talk about why the Bible is important to me, even as someone who doesn't believe that it's actually true anymore. I grew up Christian, so I believed that the Bible was the Word of God, and it became the foundation for my whole life. So that would include things like morality, things like purpose, things like confidence, things like love and discipline. Basically, it was the foundation for most of my values. So when I deconstructed, there was a shift. I had to reestablish what I believed, what I thought, how I navigated the world. And that was a journey, and it's still been a journey. I think part of the reason why it's a journey is because when you're trying to build on your own, it's quite difficult. Imagine building your house on your own. It's sort of easier to build a house with other people than it is to build one on your own. That's sort of what it is like to be non-religious, because you have to reconstruct your life on your own. There isn't really established community to tell you what to think or how to believe. I would say that there are certain types of belief systems, even when you're non-religious. There's humanism, for example, which isn't a religion, but it operates on very religious-like values. So it bases itself on reason and critical thinking, etc. But when it comes down to it, there isn't really a basis for certain values and principles outside of religion. Those things are built into societies because we realize as a human species that we need these things. We need morality, meaning, and purpose, and all that. Yeah, so that's my perspective on that. And as I've grown more, I began to think that there's a lot of value in religion or spirituality. It's existed for so long because human beings have a purpose for it. Human beings have a function for it. It does something to us that we have developed alongside religion. And because of that, it's become something inseparable from being human. There's a level of spirituality that I think most of us need in order to survive. Well, not just survive, but thrive is what I'm trying to say. And because of that, I found myself being drawn more towards spirituality. I think I've always been somebody who's been deeply spiritual, even as somebody who is non-religious. It's just that I didn't really have the permission or the framework in which to be spiritual. And also, as somebody who was non-religious and also very, very deeply values science and the truth, I couldn't really bring myself to just do spiritual like things like pray or meditate or believe in a God in a sense of thinking that he'll intervene in my life and do this or do that. It just seemed very disingenuous to me. So because of that, I've come to a place where I'm now seeing religion through a different lens. I don't think that religion is literally true, but I think that it's functionally true. I think God exists, but not in the sense that he's up there in the sky and that he is watching over us or intervening in the world, or he has some tangible effect on the world, I think God is real because God exists in our minds. Each person who is religious or spiritual and actually believes that God exists out there in the world has made God a real phenomenon in the social world. We interact with these people influence us, their beliefs about the world itself influence us, and that's what makes God real. It's like money. Money doesn't exist. It grows on trees, it's produced, and then it becomes this thin little paper thing that we trade with, and people find lots of value in money. It influences the world. Some people are super rich, other people are super poor, all because of a system that we built on a piece of paper. So in that same sense, God exists, spirituality exists because people legitimately believe that they exist. And also, in a separate way of looking at things, religion also exists because spirituality does influence us. If you genuinely believe that something is going to work for you, it can work for you. You know, you've heard of the placebo effect. There's just something that our own belief does to us. Not only does it affect our bodies, but it also affects our minds in a way that we are able to do different things. We're able to influence the world differently based on how we believe and what we believe. So, yeah, I began to see spirituality in that sense, and I want to develop a spiritual practice in relation to spirituality in that sense, a functional kind of spirituality. I'm not trying to say that this spirituality is unlocking anything mysterious about reality itself. I'm more so saying that we create reality, and that reality is based off of our beliefs and our actions. So that's why the Bible still has value to me today, because I'd love to explore it as a functional method for influencing myself and in turn influencing the world and other people in the world. And I also want to explore other forms of spirituality in that sense because I know that the feeling that we have when we are praying or meditating, whatever it might be, those are very real feelings. Very, very real feelings. And because they're very real feelings, they have very real impacts on the world.